Health. Did you know that in Japan, there are more than 90,000 people living past the age of 100? That's not just a number, it's a phenomenon. Imagine a country where centenarians are not rare, but a celebrated part of the community, where people in their 80s and 90s are still walking to the market, tending their gardens, and even practicing martial arts. Now, let's contrast that with what we see in many Western countries. In the United States, for example, billions are spent every year on gym memberships, supplements, and the latest fitness gadgets. Yet, despite all this investment, chronic disease, joint pain, and cognitive decline seem to catch up with most people after 50. Why is it that so many Americans, despite their best efforts, find themselves struggling with stiffness, balance issues, and a loss of independence as they age? It's a question that has puzzled researchers for decades. Is it the food, the genes, the healthcare system? While all of these factors play a role, there's something else, something subtle, almost hidden in plain sight, that sets Japanese elders apart. When scientists from Harvard and Stanford traveled to Japan to study the country's oldest citizens, they expected to find secrets in the diet or perhaps in some exotic exercise routine. But what they discovered was far more surprising. The real difference wasn't in what these elders ate or even how they exercised. It was in the way they moved every single day. These weren't intense workouts or grueling fitness regimens. In fact, most Western doctors would have dismissed these movements as too basic to matter. But when researchers looked closer, using brain scans, balance tests, and joint imaging, they found that these simple daily habits were making a profound difference. One movement, practiced for just 2 minutes a day, was even linked to a 7-year increase in lifespan. That's right, 7 years just from a daily habit that takes less time than brewing a cup of tea.
If you're over 50 and you've started to notice a little more stiffness in your knees, a bit of brain fog, or maybe you're just not as steady on your feet as you used to be, stay with me, because in this video, you're about to discover 6 ancient movement habits that could help you age like the Japanese, with clarity, balance, and strength. No pills, no gym gear, no sweat. Just simple routines you can do at home, in your kitchen, or even while brushing your teeth. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Drop your name and where you're watching from in the comments below. Let's build a community of people who are committed to aging well, together. And if you've tried any of these movements before, or if you have your own daily routine, share it with us. Your story could inspire someone else to take that first step. Now, let's get started with the first movement. A practice so simple, yet so powerful that it's been called the most underrated health habit in modern medicine. It's called Sampo, or slow walking. But before you roll your eyes and think, walking, really? Let me explain why this is different from any walk you've ever taken. In Japan, elders don't just walk for exercise. They practice Sampo, a quiet, mindful form of movement that's done every morning, often before breakfast. There's no rush, no pounding the pavement, no earbuds blasting music. Instead, it's about moving at half your normal pace, focusing on each step and pairing your movement with a specific breathing pattern. Inhale for 2 steps, hold for 2 steps, exhale for 4 steps. That's it. It sounds almost too simple, but here's where the magic happens. This walking-breathing combo has been shown to synchronize the cardiovascular and nervous systems, improve brain clarity, lower blood pressure, and enhance balance by reactivating deep stabilizing muscles. In a 10-year study from Kyoto University, seniors who practiced Sampo daily had 62% less arterial stiffness and walked with the grace of people 20 years younger. Why? Because walking slowly, really slowly, forces your feet to fully engage with the ground. Each step rolls from heel to arch to toe, activating all 33 joints in each foot. That sends signals to the brain that retrain your balance system, especially the parts that tend to deteriorate with age. You won't find this in a gym. You won't sweat. But after a few weeks, many people report feeling more grounded, mentally calmer, and physically stable. If you want to try it, start with just 10 minutes on natural terrain like grass or dirt. Concrete works, but uneven surfaces engage more muscles. And remember, this isn't just walking. This is how Japanese elders tune their bodies and brains every morning. You can too. Now, let's move on to the second movement, a ritual that moves an entire nation every single day. It's called Radio Taiso, and if you've ever visited Japan, you might have seen it in parks, schools, or even on TV. Every morning at exactly 6:30 a.m., a soft piano melody plays on national radio. It's not news, it's not weather, it's a signal that millions of Japanese, young and old, are about to move in sync. Radio Taiso is a flowing 3-minute routine of 13 gentle stretches designed in 1928 and still practiced today by office workers, school children, and seniors alike. But don't mistake it for a workout. There's no sweating, no holding planks, no downward dogs. Just rhythmic, continuous movement. Arm circles, forward bends, side stretches, knee lifts, all done gracefully, almost like Tai Chi with a smile. In a study of over 8,000 seniors, those who practiced Radio Taiso daily had 40% fewer falls and 55% less chronic back pain. They maintained full range of motion in their hips and shoulders even into their 80s. Why does it work? Because this ritual lubricates the joints by stimulating synovial fluid, the body's natural joint oil. Without it, stiffness sets in fast after 50. And here's the best part. It's only 3 minutes and 15 seconds long. You can do it in your pajamas, in your kitchen, barefoot. No equipment. In your kitchen, barefoot. No equipment needed. If you want to get the maximum benefit from Radio Taiso, try doing it right after you wake up, when your body's growth hormones are at their peak and your muscles are most responsive. It's not just stretching, it's a daily renewal, one breath and one simple movement at a time. And the beauty of it is that you don't need to be perfect. The goal isn't to touch your toes or twist like a gymnast. It's about waking up your body, gently mobilizing your joints, and setting a positive tone for the day ahead. Imagine starting every morning with a ritual that millions of people have relied on for nearly a century, a ritual that's been proven to keep bodies limber and minds sharp well into old age. Now, let's talk about the third movement, one that might surprise you. It's called the deep squat rest, and in Japan, it's not considered exercise at all. It's just a natural way of sitting and resting. Walk through a park in Tokyo, and you'll likely see elderly men and women in their 70s or 80s resting comfortably in a deep squat, heels flat, back straight, chatting with friends, reading a book, or even trimming bonsai trees. For most Westerners, especially those over 50, holding a deep squat for more than a few seconds feels impossible. But in Japan, it's a posture that's maintained throughout life, and it's one of the keys to staying mobile and independent. Why is the deep squat so powerful? It's not just about flexibility, it's about maintaining the full range of motion in your hips, knees, and ankles. In a 12-year study of over 5,000 seniors, those who could hold a deep squat for at least 2 minutes had a 70% lower chance of needing assisted living. Their hips stayed mobile, their knees strong, and their independence intact. Biomechanically, deep squatting opens the hips through their full range, strengthens the pelvic floor, which is crucial for bladder control, decompresses the spine, and keeps the ankles mobile and joints nourished. If you want to try it, start by squatting near a wall or sturdy chair for support. If your heels won't stay down, place a small rolled towel under them. Hold for 20 or 30 seconds a few times a day and build up slowly. This isn't just a stretch. It's your body remembering how it was designed to rest, restore, and realign without ever leaving the ground. And once you get it back, you'll never want to sit the same way again.
And reflect on what we've covered so far. We've talked about slow, mindful walking, a national stretching ritual, and a lost human posture that's still alive and well in Japan. Notice the pattern?
None of these movements require fancy equipment, special clothing, or even a gym membership. They're woven into the fabric of daily life, practiced by people of all ages, and accessible to anyone willing to give them a try. That's the real secret. Not just what you do, but how consistently you do it. Now, let's move on to the fourth movement, which is all about balance. In Japan, doctors don't just prescribe pills for aging, they prescribe standing on one leg. It sounds almost too simple, but research says otherwise. A 15-year study from Fukuoka University followed 12,000 older adults and found that those who practiced single-leg standing daily had 68% fewer hip fractures, 75% fewer fall-related hospitalizations, and higher gray matter volume in areas of the brain responsible for balance and coordination. When you stand on one leg, your body makes hundreds of micro-adjustments every minute, activating your core, ankles, hips, and even your inner ear's balance system. And your brain? It lights up. In fact, Mayo Clinic researchers now say your ability to balance on one leg is a stronger predictor of longevity than your cholesterol or blood pressure. Here's how to start safely. Stand near a wall or countertop. Lift one foot just an inch or two off the ground. Focus on a fixed point ahead and breathe normally. Start with 20 or 30 seconds on each leg. If that's too easy, try it with your eyes closed or on a folded towel to add instability. Japanese seniors often do this while brushing their teeth, turning an everyday habit into a powerful longevity ritual. Want to make it even more effective? Add slow head turns or arm movements as you improve. This challenges your brain to adapt in real time, improving neuroplasticity. It's balance training for the body and brain wrapped into 1 minute of mindful stillness. And if you're thinking, I don't have time, remember, you already brush your teeth twice a day. Why not age-proof your brain while you're at it? Let's take a moment to appreciate the wisdom in these simple practices. In the West, we often think that more is better. More reps, more sweat, more pain. But in Japan, the focus is on quality, consistency, and integration into daily life. These movements aren't about pushing your limits or chasing the next fitness trend. They're about honoring your body, respecting its needs, and making movement a natural, joyful part of every day. Now, let's talk about the fifth movement, which is all about transitions, specifically getting up and down from the floor. In Japan, sitting on the floor isn't unusual. It's daily life. People eat on the floor, drink tea on the floor, watch TV on the floor. And that means they also get up and down from the floor dozens of times a day. But here's what most Westerners don't realize. This humble movement, going from standing to floor and back again, might be the single best test of how well you're aging. A massive study from the University of Tsukuba followed over 10,000 older adults, those who could sit down on the floor and rise back up without using their hands had dramatically better lower body strength, joint flexibility, cognitive scores, and, shockingly, a lower mortality rate over the next 6 years. Why? Because this transition isn't just physical, it's neurological. It demands coordination, core stability, spatial awareness, and motor planning. All things that decline silently after 50. And it works both ways. If you practice it regularly, you can reverse that decline. Start simple. Lower yourself into a kneeling position using a chair or low stool. Then practice rising back up using support as needed. Even just 2 or 3 transitions a day can build noticeable strength over time. Practice on carpet or a yoga mat to reduce joint stress. This isn't about flexibility, it's about staying independent, because the day you can't get off the floor is the day you stop living on your own terms. Let's pause and reflect on the power of these transitions. In many Western homes, the simple act of sitting on the floor has all but disappeared, replaced by couches, chairs, and recliners. But in Japan, the floor is a place of connection, tradition, and daily movement. Children play on tatami mats, families gather around low tables, and elders maintain the ability to rise and sit with ease. This isn't just a cultural quirk, it's a built-in form of functional fitness that keeps people strong, agile, and independent well into their later years. Imagine the confidence that comes from knowing that you can get up from the floor without help, no matter your age. It's a small thing, but it's also everything. Now, let's move to the sixth and final movement, a deceptively simple ritual that many Japanese centenarians credit as their #1 secret to staying strong, focused, and mobile well into their 90s. It's called the towel twist, or tenugui higiki. At first glance, it might look almost too basic to matter. You take a towel, hold it at shoulder height with your arms extended, pull outward gently as if trying to tear it, and then slowly twist your torso to one side, keeping your hips facing forward. Hold for 3 seconds, return to center, and twist to the other side, all while maintaining tension on the towel. What's happening here is more profound than it appears. That gentle tension activates deep stabilizer muscles in your shoulders, back, and core, muscles that often go dormant with age and are rarely engaged in typical Western workouts. Brain scans have shown that this movement activates both hemispheres of the brain simultaneously, enhancing coordination, memory, and even reaction time. In a 20-year study of 15,000 Japanese elders, those who practiced the towel twist daily for just 2 minutes lived 7 years longer on average. Their grip strength stayed above the independence threshold into their 90s, and their bone density was 20 years younger than their peers. If you want to try it, do the towel twist first thing in the morning and again before bed. It bookends your day with activation and recovery, calming your nervous system and priming your brain. No gym, no noise, just you, a towel, and 2 minutes that could change everything. And if you're dealing with joint pain, poor balance, or past injuries, don't worry. You're not behind. You're just getting started, and that matters. These movements aren't about perfection. They're about consistency and intention. Let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture. What do all these movements have in common? They're simple, accessible, and require no special equipment. They're rooted in daily life, not in the pursuit of fitness for its own sake. And most importantly, they're sustainable. You don't need to carve out an hour for the gym or invest in expensive gear. You just need to weave these habits into your routine, a few minutes at a time, every day. But maybe you're thinking, this all sounds great, but is it really enough? After all, we're bombarded with messages that tell us we need to push harder, sweat more, and chase the next big thing if we want to stay healthy. The truth is, the science is on the side of simplicity. When researchers compared the health outcomes of Japanese elders who practiced these daily movements with those of Westerners who relied on traditional exercise routines, the results were striking. The Japanese group had lower rates of chronic disease, fewer falls, better cognitive scores, and most importantly, a higher quality of life. It's not that intense exercise is bad. It's that it's not the only path to health. For many people over 50, the idea of starting a new workout routine can feel overwhelming, even intimidating. But what if you could get most of the benefits, better balance, stronger joints, sharper mind, just by moving a little more like the Japanese? What if you could age with grace, confidence, and independence without ever setting foot in a gym? Let's imagine a typical day in the life of a Japanese elder. The sun rises, and instead of reaching for a phone or turning on the TV, they step outside or into their living room and begin their day
with a slow, mindful walk. The world is quiet, the air is fresh, and for those 10 minutes, you're not just moving your body, you're setting the tone for your entire day. Each step is a gentle reminder that you're alive, capable, and in control of your health. After your walk, you turn on a soft melody or simply move in silence, flowing through the gentle stretches of Radio Taiso. Your arms circle, your spine bends and lengthens, your joints wake up. There's no rush, no pressure to perform, just a